pie chart is a circular statistical graphic divided into slices to illustrate numerical proportion. Each slice represents a category contribution to the whole. So what's the purpose? Proportions of a whole. Best used to show how different parts contributes to a single total, e.g., market shares, distribution, budget allocation by department, survey responses by category, single data analysis, designed for visualizing a single series of data. Tips: limited categories. Avoid using too many slices, generally no more than five. So if you're going to be using pie chart, so you don't use more than five, you don't use more than you don't use too many slices. So you don't use more than five or seven. So it will be somehow because it will be very difficult to read and to distinguish and compare them. Also, comparison difficulty. Pie charts are poor for comparison the exact sizes of slices, especially if they are similar. Bar charts are better for precise comparison. 100% true. The sum of all slices must always be equal 100%. So pie chart make use of 100% true. So the sum of all slices must always be 100%. So let's work on the data and create a pie chart. So we're going to be using segment and sum of segment. So we're going to be using this. Then you can go to either recommended chart, or go directly to pie chart and select any of the pie charts that you want. Either you want it as donut, or you want it as 3D pie, or you want it as 2D pie, or you want it as these and many others. So I prefer you go to recommended chart. So you can just pick the ones that you think is going to make your work more easier and more able to read. So I prefer, since we are working on pie charts, then I prefer you use pie. So let's cut, then bring it here. So this is pie chart. So let's do some justice to that. Let's do data labeling and let's call out. So let's call it out. Let's do data call out. So if you check this particular data labeling, you see we have home office, which is 19%, cost to consumer, which is 50%, corporate, which is 31%. So if you calculate everything together, so it goes in line with the 100% rules in what's it called that we've actually mentioned. So if you go back and do many others, lucky, let's check for this time series and maybe create something under pi. You see how very awkward it will look. So let's go back to pi and create. So creating this looks somehow awkward. We would like to compare and contrast. Let's compare and contrast. Now, if you compare and contrast, you notice the fact that this is not very neat. So, and it's going to be very difficult to read, unlike this that is easier to read. Since it is not, we don't have multiple slices, we only have just three slices: the consumer, the corporate, and the home office. So inside here we have 12 slices. We have 12 slices. So if you even check, let's try and do color data call out. You will notice it's very difficult to read. So doing the data call out is very difficult to read. So sometimes it's not advisable that you use this particular pie chart when you are having more slices. So instead of using pie charts, instead uh, you can either use line charts, you can use bar chart or column chart for that. So that is that about pie chart.